y'all. So, what have I been up to? I've been up to school and school and school and school. And I made a baby Afghan, which I'll put a picture somewhere. Not in this video, but somewhere once I get it washed and the end wove in. And yeah, and other than that, I've been making granny squares I started just 'cause I like granny squares. I like making them. But then I heard about this awesome, amazing project going on YouTube. And, well, the way it started was last year, a fellow YouTuber, her mom, Nancy She's Got Yarn Too. Her mom belongs to a women's group in Florida, and they do service projects. Well, their service project was going to be crocheting blankets for Camp Boggy Creek. And you say, what is Camp Boggy Creek? So, what Camp Boggy Creek is, it was started by General Norman Schwarzkopf and Paul Newman. And I'm not sure when it was started, but it's a camp, like summer camp, for kids that have serious illnesses, like severe asthma, sickle cell anemia, leukemia, people that are wheelchair bound, kids that are wheelchair bound, kids from 6 to 16. So they've got all kind of staff. They've got doctors. They've got volunteers. They've got nurses. They've got help. They've got everybody that these kids need. And these kids get to do things that they never get to do, never would get to do if they didn't go to this camp. Well, what it is each week or weekend, I think sometimes they only do a weekend, sometimes they do a week. It's kids that all have the same thing. Like one week it'll be kids with sickle cell anemia. Another week it'll be kids with severe asthma. The next weekend it might be all kids with heart problems. It's just a time for them to come together and be with not just kids their age, because this is from 6 to 16, but kids that know what it's like to have what they have and know what it's like to experience life that way. And then they even have a day, where the parents and the siblings come. So the parents can network with each other, talk, find friends with each other, with parents that know what they're going through. And the siblings, they get to meet other siblings that know what it's like to have a sibling that is going through that illness. So this great organization, Nancy's mom, I can't remember what her name is, or I never knew what her woman's group's name is, just her woman's group. And they were going to make blankets last year for the camp, for the kids. So she asked her daughter, Nancy, if she would make a blanket or two. And Nancy said, okay. And she asked Lynette, who is Charmed Grammy on YouTube, she asked her to do it, and Charmed Grammy said, hey, we've got YouTube, let's put this out here as a challenge for people as something they can do to crochet for charity, help us, help the kids. So they raised, I think it was $370 or 380. Well, they got Billie, the crafty Floridian. She got involved last year too, and now they're doing it again this year. And Nancy's the one taking the blankets, and there's dimensions for how big, how wide, and how long they need to be, but I'm not sure about that, so I'm not going to say it in this video. But once I go and look and make absolutely sure, I'll put it in the description. And then I'm going to have each one of their channels linked, as well as their latest live, which was this past Wednesday, where in the very beginning, it's on Billie's channel, but once Lynette starts talking, she gives all the information about it, all the dimensions that you need. So, and everything needs to be, it's either crocheted or knitted blankets in acrylic yarn, so that it's easy to wash and easy to just deal with. And you need to have it in the dimensions. I can't remember them. But starting this year, Lynann, who is another YouTuber from, let me think for a second, Nina's Knots Crochet, she said, okay, sending a blanket is awesome, but not everybody can afford that. So send me a few granny squares and I'll sew them together into blankets, because she is in Florida and she lives close enough to Nancy where she can get them to Nancy for the Camp Boggy Creek kids. So she's taking granny squares that are 5-inch squares. So that's 5 wide and 5 long. And out of 4 weight, 100% acrylic yarn. So you make the squares and you send it to Lynann, and she shows her squares on Thursday. No, on Friday in a video. But this week she showed on Thursday and Friday because she had so many. So yeah, you can do any pattern of granny square, anything. There's been some really beautiful ones. Just please do them. But Laura from Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming, she put out a double duck challenge to everyone that goes, okay, did I say Lynann is collecting the squares until November 31st or 30th, whenever the end of November is. She's doing them to the end of November. And then Mad Mimi, Laura at Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming, put out the double duck challenge, which is if you send 17, and you wonder why 17, because she got 17 squares out of one skein of yarn. So she said 17 squares. If you send those to Lynann and write in your note that you accepted the double duck challenge, then she will do 17 and send, or do some or something. But then if you put quack quack in your note, she'll do a few more. So I guess she's going to do 17 for however many people say that they would doubled up challenged. And then she'll do, I think she said 3 more if you say quack quack. So do that. But then Jan, the Alaskan crafter or an Alaskan crafter, I don't know. Everybody will be linked in the description. She put out a challenge for you to send to Nancy by the end of September, which is coming up. It's about halfway through September now, but it depends on how fast you can crochet. She has a video where she put out a challenge for people to do a stained glass blanket, stained glass crochet blanket. And she has 4 or 5 different patterns listed in that video in her description, or that she talks about, that you can use. So do those. And when I say till the end of September, that's to send her a pic, to make an Afghan or a blanket, stained glass blanket, and send the picture to her and be entered into some kind of giveaway. But if you don't make that, then you can still make one and send it to Nancy. And Laura's challenge goes to October 15th. And if you send squares up until the end of send squares up until the end of November. But for Laura to do squares based on you having done squares, that only goes till October 15th. So, yeah. And they want to try to double the number of blankets they get this year. And the reason they want so many is it's not just they have so many beds, it's that each week 150 kids come and they get to take the blanket that is on their bed home with them. So it's kind of a one and done kind of deal. Like they have a blanket while they're there, and then it goes home with them. It's gone. It's no longer a Boggy Creek blanket. It has left the building. Blanket has left the building. So that's why they want so many, is because 300 and something is only a little over 3 weeks, and not even a full 4 weeks, because each week is 150 kids. So it may not, no, that's not even, yeah, 380. So 150 and 150 is 300. So that's 2 weeks. So there's only a little over 2 weeks, not even 3 weeks. So let's get hooking for this great organization, and all the information of where you need to send the blankets, when you need to send them by, and videos and channels and everything is going to be down in the description. All you need to know right now is make 5x5 granny squares and make blankets. So let's get hooking. Please really take this as something, take this to heart like I have. This is something that is very important and very awesome. These kids need to be shown love. These kids need to know that People love them. And I've just been thinking, if I had kids, I would get my kids involved in this. Like, I would let them pick out the colors, and I would let them know that this is going to a sick child or to a child that has something. So you could even let your child pick out like what patterns you use. I just thought that'd be something fun and everything. So yeah, let's get hooking. Well, that's all I got for now. I'll have everything in the description, like I said. So happy crafting and God bless. Bye.